Alrighty, 5 seconds ago I decided to put something else on. Really need to get some sort of, okay, I think that's good. Decided to put a different shirt on than I was wearing earlier in the day. Just put this on to film this video. Why? I don't know, because wanted to, so I did. Okay, here's my board. There's a lot of crap on this board. Okay, we're 46 seconds in, it's 1:36. I'm gonna try to keep this video to 8 minutes, and the reason I'm gonna do it to 8 minutes is because of Myron. And because it's taken forever to upload things that are long, and I haven't really done anything in the middle, but I'm gonna try 8 minutes. So at 1:44, which is gonna end up being 9 minutes, but at 1:44 I'm gonna try to wrap up. Okay, I made 2 columns on this board when I was reading Joe's article. One of them was read Joe's article, and I started a list. The other side was extra thoughts. My thought was that I was going to be ready to make my final video for the read Joe's article after I was done reading the article, but I decided I want to do a little bit of writing before I actually make the video for reading Joe's article. I'm going to go through the extra thoughts side, and then I'm going to go through the read Joe's article side. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I wrote down all the extra thoughts before I wrote down the read Joe's article side. So I'm going to try to do things in the order that they came out of my brain. Make video more intentional. What I was thinking about when I wrote down that bullet point was, it's possible that knowing I'm going to have to make a video about anything that I'm doing, about everything that I'm doing, possibly will make me be more intentional, not only with the things as I'm doing them, but just the things I decide to do every day. So that was just a thought I had. Maybe if I make more videos, I'll be more intentional, not only with the quality of the things I do, but with the things themselves that I'm actually doing. Shorter videos equal faster uploads. That's a thing that I thought about. I want to try to keep my videos a little bit shorter so that I can upload them faster. I just noticed that I'm talking very, very fast. And I think that part of the reason I'm talking so fast is because I have put a time constraint on myself. Maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it is a good thing. When I listen back to this video, although I haven't really been, I didn't do that a single time in the last video. I have not been watching the shoot from the hip videos back. Maybe I'll watch this one back because of this very thing. I think that if I talk too fast, it's going to ruin any bit of quality that I could have. That might be true, that might not be true. So during this section, I've talked very slowly. Maybe in the beginning when I was talking faster, maybe that's actually a better video. Maybe it's a worse video. Can't quite tell. I'm going to continue on with the rest of this. My idea was with that 8-minute, it says right here, 8-minute videos, and I can make things part 1 and part 2. I already solved my problem in the middle of this. Just make things part 1 and part 2. Then I can talk nice and slowly, and I can cut my videos in half, and I'll just make part 1s and part 2s. I'll either stop filming and then post it that way. I could duplicate my videos on Apple and shrink it down to 8 minutes and then shrink the next bit down to the next bit of time. I could do that. I know that there's software. I know that there's video editing software. I don't want to look into it yet, so I'm not going to. While I was reading, an extra thought that I had was my boy, Myron Golden. It's not my boy. He's like a 62-year-old man who has got some wisdom that I've been listening to recently. Something I heard Myron say was he was talking about how to read, and he was saying when he reads a book and he highlights something, he writes down his thought, his first thought about the quote. He doesn't write down the quote. He doesn't keep a log of the quotes. He writes down the first quote that comes to his mind as he reads a quote that impacts him. It was a very interesting thing I heard him say recently. The next thought I had in my extra thoughts was I won't read what I write. Was talking to my brother. He wants to start doing journaling. I would like to write more often as well. But honestly, I've done a little bit of writing the last couple days, and I have not read anything that I've written. And to be fair, I guess I just said that I haven't watched any of these videos back, but I would think I'm more likely to watch a video back than read. Maybe that's what I'll do. The first thing I go back to and look at, if I rewatch this video or if I reread something that I've written, maybe I will gain more insight into my own brain when I figure out, am I going to go back and read things or am I going to go back and watch things? The last thing that I wrote down on my extra thoughts is I miss English class. I miss English class. I hated English class when I was in it. I didn't pay attention. I didn't like to speak up. I didn't like to read. I didn't like to do book reports. I didn't like to do anything, really. But one of the thoughts that I had while I was reading this whole thing was to make a podcast or something like that, where I just take, I'm going to talk about this in the next video, my idea for the podcast, because I think I'm going to post this extra thoughts one. I just had this thought while I was filming. I'm going to post this extra thoughts video because it's going to be nice and short, and then I'm going to post my Read Joe's article part of the video as my second video, and all of those are going to be before I do my third video, which is going to be respond to Joe's article. Okay, anyways, back to missing English class. I miss my English class. I had an environment where people were forced to read something and then forced to discuss it. The problem was every English class I sat in, both in high school and in the little bit of college that I did, nobody wanted to talk. No one wanted to respond. No one wanted to do any of that. Maybe what one of the problems was is you're reading something that the teacher is forcing you to read. That's one thought I had. What if I decide, hey, I want to start a podcast and I want to be the teacher. I'm going to pretend for a second. I want to be the teacher. I want to be the one who is willing to engage with the person I have onto the podcast. However, and this is what Joe Rogan does. He talks to the person on his podcast about the thing that they are an expert in or that they are interested in. The thing is, when I try to tell somebody something, I'm the one who's interested in it. They are not interested in it, so they have nothing to talk to me about. So we just come to this like, all right, we're not really we're not really interested in the same thing, so we're just going to stop having this conversation. It is 1:44. I'm going to try to wrap up on this point. So, anyways, what if for a podcast I made, and I'm just going to use my brother as my first guest because honestly, he's the easiest person in my life for me to talk to. He's the easiest, he's the person I get the most back and forth with about anything because we're just, anyways, beside the point. What if I tell my brother, hey, send me an article that has had some sort of impact on you. Send me an article that you've read in the last however long that you really, really liked. And I'm going to read the article and I'm going to read it the way that I want to read it. I'm going to make a video like this and then I'm going to make a response video, and I'm going to make a couple videos about the article that you send me, and then I want to film a podcast episode of you and I discussing the article that you sent me. Maybe that is a good way to have a good conversation. Maybe that's a good way for me to take something that someone else is already interested in and show an interest in it, try to do something interesting, just come up with thoughts. It's a good idea, or maybe it's not, but I'm going to try it. Maybe I'm going to try it. And that was my thought with I Miss English Class, to start a podcast or a YouTube channel or something where we just take an article and we respond to it. But the trick is, it can't be an article that I think is interesting. It has to be an article that someone else is already interested in, and then we expound upon the ideas written in that article, the reasons for why the person thought the article was interesting in the first place, something like that. There is my extra thoughts from this board. I don't have my little thingy to erase this. Got a dirty sock though. All right, I erased the extra thoughts. I also don't have my pen in here. My slight bit of formatting that I did come up with is getting ruined right now, but extra thoughts, pretend like it says extra thoughts right there. That's what I'm going to title this video. Alrighty.